Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about how long you should rest in between sets. We'll take into account how long you've been training, if you're a beginner, if you're advanced, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a powerlifter. They're all slightly different, and I'll explain why. The first, people who have started going to the gym with a bodybuilding intent, not to become bodybuilders, but to build muscle and to lose fat, to strengthen their physique, not necessarily to become a powerlifter or, to become an athlete or anything, but just to get a better physique, which is building muscle, losing fat. And that, once you start, your muscles really don't have that much to recover, and when you start training, you don't actually know how to go to failure. So you unconsciously, regardless of how hard you actually train, you're not accustomed to going to failure. So you tend to give up before you fail. And that's not to accuse you of not training hard or anyone who starts out, but it's just the idea of going to failure. It's not something that beginners do, going to failure. And it feels really weird and unnatural. So it's natural to give up before failing. So in that case, then there's less damage to fuel, but also there's less muscle and it's less powerful, so there's less fuel needed, meaning that after every hard set, you can rest 1 minute and you can be like, good to go, another set, even if that's like bench. But once you start getting to an intermediate, end of beginner, maybe advanced stage, when you start doing bodybuilding, like myself, or you don't necessarily do bodybuilding, but you just work on your physique every day, but you've been doing it for years and you're getting decently strong, then the rest period increases to about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on what exercise you're doing, because now you have a lot more muscle and it's a lot stronger. So therefore, there's a lot more total damage that is impeded onto your muscles. I don't know if that's the right word. Total damage impeded. Yeah, whatever. Total damage impeded, meaning there's more to repair. So you're going to have to use more rest in between each set in order to actually get to the point where you're ready for your next set. And now for the exercise differentiations is compounds. Obviously you need to rest longer, because not only is the targeted muscle fatigued, but other muscles fatigued, and overall systemic fatigue is fatigued. So there's a lot to recover in between each set. But if you do something like bicep curls, for an example, the biceps just need to recover. But if you do squats, your entire body needs to just chill. So for me personally, when I do bicep curls, I'll rest for at most like 2 minutes. But when I do something like squats, I'll rest for probably around 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, depending on how hard I did that last set, which is usually very consistently at the max. So usually around 5 minutes, but 4 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere around there. And if you're a similar stage to me, or you've been training for a year or two, you've been getting stronger, then I would advise the same thing, just that all your muscle can get a good amount of recovery in between each set. Now the next up is powerlifting. It's all a common meme about powerlifters, taking naps in between each set. And there is a little bit of truth behind it, but it's over exaggerated. The truth is, when it comes to strength training specifically, you need a lot of rest. Because like I said with the squats, the strength aspect of it, powerlifters aren't going to be doing bicep curls and then sleeping in between bicep curls. No. So the powerlifting is pretty much only towards compound movements and heavy lifts like bench, squat, deadlift, maybe rows, overhead presses, stuff like that, where it's very compoundy, free weights, and there's a lot of systemic fatigue. And so not only are you resting for the systemic fatigue, but also you're doing a really high weight because you're doing a lot less reps. Because bodybuilding, you'll do a higher rep, like 12 rep range or whatever, which is really good. But then powerlifting, you'll do a much lower rep range to gain the strength. And so you'll face a lot more systemic fatigue and overall muscle breakdown from a strength perspective, which also takes a bit longer to recover between each set. So that would also mean that the rest time would be longer than, say, where a bodybuilder trains. But then it would be pretty much similar to what I do with squats, because my rep range is reasonably low, so hence I rest like 4 or 5 minutes. And I would say the same thing for like powerlifting. Strength training would be that 5-minute range when going heavy. Definitely not the warm-ups. Warm-ups rest maximum 3 minutes, and anything that's not a compound or not like really heavy, then you can bring the rest down. But anything really powerliftery, then keep the rest at a decent rate. One more thing, I need to think of a name for this series, because I feel like the intro is just like, hey guys, today we're going to be talking. I feel like there needs to be welcome to another episode of blah, blah, blah. Let me know in the comments for name ideas for this, because that'll be pretty sick to start every video with a name idea. This daily series, that is. YouTube thinks you'll really enjoy this, and I think so too. So do me a favor and enjoy yourself by watching this video. Subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.